Imagine opening the video with a rush of Black Ops nostalgia iconic missions. High-octane gunfights, familiar operators, and then suddenly dropping the question that has been blowing up the community. What if Black Ops 7 is actually going to be free? From the first second, you're planting a seed of curiosity. Well, not clickbait, but a genuine mystery that players everywhere are debating. The hook should feel urgent, almost explosive, as if you were about to reveal something that could completely shift how Call of Duty launches games moving forward. You tease the rumors, the supposed leaks, the insider whispers, and the unexpected patterns that Activision has followed with recent titles. And right as viewers start wondering if this could really happen, you promise that by the end of the video, they understand whether there's any truth to the idea, or if it's just another wild internet theory catching fire. Then the intro begins by slowing things down just enough to create clarity. You greet the audience, set the tone, and explain exactly why this topic is getting so much traction. Players have seen Call of Duty experiment in ways the franchise never used. Tour Zone being free multiplayer weekends, shifting business models, and now the massive conversation about whether Black Ops 7 could join that trend. You walk viewers through the buzz that's spreading across Reddit threads, YouTube breakdowns, and Twitter discussions. Explain that today's video is all about separating facts from speculation. You outline what you'll cover, what Activision has officially said, what the rumors are claiming, what a free Black Ops 7 would actually look like, and how realistic the whole thing is. By the end of this intro, the audience should know exactly why this topic matters, and they should feel confident that they are about to get a clear, honest breakdown instead of vague hype. If you've been anywhere near the Call of Duty community lately, YouTube breakdowns, and Twitter debates, Reddit threads, you've probably seen the same question popping up again and again. Why are so many players talking about Black Ops 7 potentially being free? It might sound wild at first, especially for a franchise as massive and as premium as Call of Duty, but once you break it down, the conversation actually makes sense. Over the last few years, Activision has been experimenting in ways nobody expected. Warzone launched as a fully free-to-play experience and immediately changed how millions of people interacted with the COD universe. It didn't just succeed, it exploded into one of the biggest FPS communities in the world, showing Activision that offering a free entry point isn't just viable, it's incredibly profitable. Then you add the free multiplayer weekends, free access trials, and the rise of Game Pass under Microsoft's umbrella, and suddenly the idea of a partially free or heavily discounted Black Ops title doesn't feel as insane as it once did. Players remember how Modern Warfare 2019 reshaped the formula, and now they're wondering if Black Ops 7 could be the next big shift. Combine all that with some recent leaks, industry insider claims, and influencers teasing changes to the COD business model, and the entire community is buzzing with the possibility that this next entry might break tradition. So the question isn't just, is Black Ops 7 going to be free? The real question is, has the gaming landscape and the Call of Duty franchise changed enough for Activision to actually consider something this bold? And if so, what does that mean for players and the series as a whole? That's exactly what we're diving into throughout this video. Before we jump into theories and possibilities, it's important to look at what's actually confirmed about Black Ops 7 right now. While Activision hasn't come out and said anything regarding the game being free, there have been official updates, announcements, and patterns that give us clues about the direction things might be headed. First, we know that Black Ops 7 has been in development by Treyarch for several years. The studio has emphasized deep narrative elements, advanced movement, and a multiplayer system designed to support long-term seasonal updates, something that aligns closely with games that rely heavily on ongoing engagement, not just one-time purchases. Next, the relationship between Call of Duty and Game Pass is becoming a major talking point. With Microsoft now owning Activision, players are expecting some form of day-one availability for upcoming COD titles. Whether that means full access for Game Pass subscribers, campaign-only content, or a multiplayer trial is still unclear, right? But the consistent push from Microsoft to add value to their subscription service makes it impossible to ignore. If Black Ops 7 launches on Game Pass, that alone will feel very close to being free for millions of players. We also know that Activision has been analyzing the success of free-to-play models across the industry, from Apex to Fortnite to Halo Infinite. Every major FPS franchise is experimenting in new ways, and COD is no exception. The data shows that free access dramatically increases player count and long-term spending through cosmetics, bundles, and seasonal passes. Although no official pricing has been announced yet, the structure of recent COD titles' live service seasons, cross-platform progression, and heavily monetized cosmetic systems suggests the franchise is already built to support a free or partially free release model. Whether they actually take that leap with Black Ops 7 is the big unknown. Now let's dig into the big question everyone wants answered. Could Black Ops 7 realistically go free? It's easy to dismiss the idea based on tradition alone. Call of Duty has always been a premium franchise, and Activision has made billions selling yearly titles at full price. But if we look at where the industry is heading, the idea becomes far more plausible. The first major factor is the power of free-to-play ecosystems. Warzone's success showed Activision that a massive player base spending smaller amounts over time can be more profitable than a $70 upfront purchase. If Black Ops 7's multiplayer were to launch free, or even with a free tier, the player count could skyrocket instantly. Another factor is Game Pass. Microsoft's acquisition of Activision was just for fun, was a $70 billion strategic move. They need big titles to justify their subscription model, and nothing does that better than Call of Duty. Imagine the headline: Black Ops 7, Day 1 on Game Pass. For millions, that instantly feels like a free release. And once a game becomes free for a large portion of the global audience, it's only a small step away from expanding that model to everyone. There's also the possibility of a hybrid release. Maybe the campaign remains a premium purchase, but multiplayer is free. Or maybe there's a rotating free weekend every month, similar to what we've seen already. Activision could also adopt a free starter edition with limited playlists, encouraging players to upgrade if they want the full experience. While nothing is confirmed, the patterns are clear. The industry is shifting, the business model is evolving, and Activision has every financial incentive to consider new strategies. Yes, whether they actually pull the trigger depends on how bold they're willing to be with Black Ops 7. If Black Ops 7 does go free partially or fully, it would reshape how players experience the game. First, the biggest advantage is obvious. The player base would explode. New players, returning veterans, and curious casuals would jump in instantly. Matchmaking would become faster and more balanced, especially for lower skill brackets. With millions of players entering the ecosystem at once, Treyarch would have more data than ever to fine-tune gameplay, balance weapons, and release updates that respond to real player behavior. But a free model comes with trade-offs. The biggest one is monetization. If the game isn't selling at full price, Activision will lean even harder on cosmetics, bundles, weapon blueprints, skins, and battle passes. While this new COD already has one of the biggest cosmetic ecosystems in gaming, it could become even more central to the experience. Some players might feel this pushes the game too close to Battle Pass culture, where the focus shifts from content to cosmetics. There's also the question of how competitive integrity would be affected. Free games attract millions of players, but they also attract smurfs, cheaters, and throwaway accounts. Anti-cheat systems would need to become even more aggressive. Maintaining a clean, fair multiplayer environment becomes much harder when the barrier to entry is zero. On the positive side, a free or partially free Black Ops 7 could mean more consistent updates, more seasonal content, and a longer lifespan for the game. Instead of buying a new COD every year, players might stick with BO7 as a multi-year platform, similar to MW 2019's impact on Warzone. Overall, a free model would bring massive benefits but also challenges. The question is whether Activision is ready to embrace that shift, and whether players are ready for what comes with it. The Call of Duty community is split, but also incredibly hyped about the possibility of Black Ops 7 going free. On one side, you have players who think it's long overdue. They argue that the franchise has already moved into a live service model, so making multiplayer free would simply match what's happening across the entire industry. These players see it as an opportunity to bring new energy into the game, boost matchmaking quality, support content creators, and make COD more accessible than ever. On the other side, there are longtime fans who worry that a free model could dilute the experience. They fear an increase in microtransactions, a heavier focus on cosmetics, and a growing number of cheaters. Many competitive players argue that part of what makes COD enjoyable is that it's a premium experience with a community that's willing to invest in it. For them, making Black Ops 7 free could risk turning it into something less polished or more chaotic. Then there are the content creators, YouTubers, streamers, analysts who are already preparing for what this could mean. Some say a free Black Ops 7 would explode in popularity and dominate FPS gaming for years. Others believe that unless Activision handles it carefully, the game could lose the identity that made the Black Ops series iconic. Despite the debate, one thing is universal. People are excited. Conversation alone has reignited interest in Call of Duty in a way we haven't seen in years. Players want to know what Activision is planning. Even skeptics admit that a free or partially free Black Ops 7 would be one of the biggest gaming news events of the decade. As we wait for official announcements, the community continues to speculate, debate, and hope for something groundbreaking.